Hi guys, it's Rita here from Picked and Polished, coming at you live on a Saturday night. I don't usually do Saturday nights, but I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. So if you're here, if you're watching, if you could say hello, let me know where you're watching from. If it's your first time with me, welcome. I hope you enjoy this free tutorial series, DIY decor with your Cricut machine. And tonight we've got a double bonus, you guys, a double feature. Hi, Cindy. We've got DIY with a Cricut project and buffalo plaid. Say what? I know. Plus, I'm wearing my plaid shirt just for the occasion, right? Just to make it extra fun. Hi, Lori. Hi, Kim. So hop on, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. If you're catching me live, you'll see the little red button up there in the corner. If you're catching me on replay, hashtag replay so I know you were here. Feel free to pop your comments and your questions in the comments feed. And if I don't see them on tonight's live broadcast, I will go back and answer them after tonight. So feel free to keep asking those great questions because the more you know, the more questions you're gonna have. That's something I know from being a teacher. And just from life in general. So hi Lauralee, hi Rhonda, thanks for being with me tonight. So you guys, I've got a super cute project I'm gonna be showing you. Let me take this out. I've got these adorable wooden tags that are gonna be little fall door hangers that say welcome fall. I'm gonna be stenciling on these. Plus, I'm gonna show you how you guys can get some plaid going on your signs as well or your home decor. Thank you, Melody. It's not quite buffalo plaid because I guess technically buffalo plaid has like 3 colors, but I like to mix things up a little bit. So we're going to be testing the waters tonight with 4 colors. And we're going to be doing some different colors on a board. I'm going to show you how I got this look. And then, hi, Julie. Thank you, Lori. So, so I'm going to show you how I got this look on a board. And then we're going to do the stenciling on these while that's drying. Okay, so we've got like 2 projects baking in the oven at once, and I'm really excited. So tomorrow is September 1st, you guys, and that means it is only 15 days. 15 days until the DIY Decor Makers Group doors open up. I am the creator of the DIY Decor Makers Group. It's an online membership group where women, creative women get together, and I teach projects to help you DIY decor for your home, sell beautiful DIY decor for your business, or inspire others in DIY workshops. So, hi Roxy. So, and the doors open for that. It's only 90 cents a day to join that, which works out to be, I think our membership fee is $27 a month and you get a ton of content. And we'll talk a little bit about that. If you're interested, message me or you can hop on over to my wait list at pickedandpolishedblog.com. So, hi Sylvia, getting ready for work. I hope you have a good night at work. So we're gonna hop right in and get moving and grooving here. I don't wanna waste any of your time tonight. Let's see. All right, we're gonna start with a board and then I'm gonna prep my stencil that I pre-cut on my Cricut. I'm in my shop and somebody's being Speedy Gonzalez, so I'll show you how I do that. Thank you, Lori. Lori said Rita's an amazing teacher. And for those of you that are already on the wait list, I have a special video coming to you. And some of the members in the group already are making little surprises for you. So when you join, you feel super duper welcome. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm really excited about that too. All right. So we're going to start right out with the buffalo plaid, or my version of the plaid, actually. It's not quite exactly buffalo plaid. We're going to be using Dixie Belle's Savannah Mist, Stormy Seas. I've got drop cloth already on the board and we're going to be using terracotta. Okay. And on this one I used, and I can list the colors later, I did like a barnwood finish on the base coat and I did that live on a few videos ago. Hi Catherine. And then I used, let's see, Florida orange. I mixed it with a little bit of drop cloth to make like a creamsicle color. And then I used the gravel road. So those were the colors on this one. Hi, Tiffany. And so tonight we're doing it a little bit different. I just want to see what happens when I combine these colors because I'm loving the blues and grays and oranges together and the teals with the oranges this season. So I thought I'd give it a go and see what happens, right? What's the worst that can happen? We paint over it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tip my camera down so I can show you how I did the plaid. And there's like a lot of different ways to do it, but this is what I found was easiest for me. And again, I'm using 4 colors, and I'm starting with a board that had a base coat of Stormy Seas, and I just kind of went over it with a dry brush of drop cloth, because I kind of like that like weathered look. So I'm wondering how that'll look like as it pops out in the little square. So we're gonna see what happens. Hi Mary Kay, thanks for hopping on tonight. All right, so you guys ready? Now my camera would not flip so that the words won't be the right way, but you guys get the point anyways. All right, so I'm gonna tip my camera down here. And so the first thing we're gonna do is I have my 1-inch, I think this is 1-inch painter's tape. You're gonna use a lot of painter's tape, and I like to reuse mine because it gets expensive. But this was really a lot faster and easier than I thought it would be. So the first thing I'm going to do is, if I'm going to do horizontal lines, I'm going to mark the middle of my board. All right, so it's 7 1/4. So 3 1/2, a little over 3 1/2 is at my center point. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that, like right here. Same thing down here. Find my center point, I mark it, and then here's a neat little trick. And this is the case with any shape that you're gonna do plaid on, okay? So, hi Linda, I miss you. Thanks for hopping on tonight. All right, so I'm gonna cut my tape, and then before I really get going, I'll start cutting a bunch of pieces. So I'm gonna fold my tape in half, sticky side up, so that it doesn't stick together. I'm just gonna kind of pinch the ends so it kind of like marks the midway point of my tape, and I'm gonna line that up with my line that I made for my center point. Okay, so I need to cut this one a little bit shorter. Okay, so I've got that lined up. Gonna make sure it's centered, and that looks centered to me. Does that look centered to you? And if it's a little bit off, I'm not going to get in a panic. It's not the end of the world. Unless you're someone that's going to make them crazy, then you can always remeasure and do it again. So now I'm going to cut a bunch of pieces of tape so that they're ready to go. Just like to have them ready to rock and roll. It's a little bit, it helps me move through the process a little bit faster. Okay, I'm just gonna set them off to the side. I'm gonna leave my centerpiece. One of them is always gonna be used for spacing, okay? Hi Maria, hi Cindy. So this is gonna be my spacer piece. And I'm just using it for spacing. I'm really careful that I'm laying it down nice and even across the top of that piece. The longer the surface gets, the harder this is to do. Just as an FYI. It's not impossible, but it's a little bit trickier. So you might want to use bigger, if you have a bigger surface, use bigger tape so you don't have to do as many of these. All right, so this is going to be the line that I leave down. And I'm going to go ahead and push that down. I've got a little bit of space. Let me fix that. Hold tight. A little bit of space there. That's okay. It's even. So I'm going to move my spacer, and it looks like my end piece is just about there. So I'm not gonna need that so much. All right, so my end piece is there. Here's my spacer again. I'm just using this tape as a spacer to get my next piece of tape down. Okay. So I've got my piece. I'm gonna lay it back down. And again, I'm getting it right up against that other edge of the tape. And then it looks like I've got a little extra room there. I don't know what happened. My center point must be a little bit off. Hold on. Let me move that down just a little bit. here. It's always harder when I'm live on camera because I've got the pressure of people watching. All right, so my spacer again. Then it looks like I've got a little extra, like it's like a fatter edge than my original, but I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna leave it. This one I'm gonna space out again. I'll let this, just gonna leave a little space in between. And again, like here's my edge, and there's a little space after that. This takes a little bit of patience, but it's actually kind of therapeutic. All right, so there we go. We've got two fatter ends and a skinny, you know, and the ones in the middle are skinny, and that's okay. I could always, if I really wanted to be like precise, I could do this. I could go back down there and then tape off the ends. Why don't we do that just to see what happens? But then like the ends are going to be these little itty bitty plaids. So it doesn't really, it just depends on if you want like little squares at the end or not. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. I don't know that I want that. All right, so I've got my base coat down and I'm going to go over this. I'm going to make sure my lines are straight. Everything looks good. And then I'm going to go ahead over this with my first color. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Maureen. I think I'm going to use the, let's see. No, I think I'll use the, let me try the terracotta first. And you could do this with shades. Like I could do just oranges and a cream color, and that would be more of a buffalo check style, more of like a typical buffalo check style. But we're gonna walk on the wild side tonight and see what happens. Okay, first things first, I need a super dry brush, you guys, because if it's wet at all, it's gonna leak underneath the tape. I'm gonna make sure my tape's down really, really well. And then I'm just gonna start painting. I've got my, what do you call it? My hairdryer with me tonight. And actually I kind of like that, like a little bit distressed look. So I'm going to leave a little bit of that base color showing, but I'm going to go over everything with my orange, my terracotta color. And I'm okay with like a little bit of the drop cloth peeking through. That's like fine with me. Kind of like that. Looks a little bit different. But if you want like a perfect plaid, then you just give it full coverage, okay? So if you know anybody that's been dying to learn how to do plaids, or you think somebody would enjoy this, or you enjoy my tutorials, please pass this along so that I can continue to make free tutorials for you, help you with your DIY projects. All right, so there we go. So now I've got to turn on my hair dryer. So plug your ears for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and pretty good. So now I'm going to turn it this way. I can pull up my lines and I'm going to save my, let me move my thing so you can see it. I'm going to save my tape. Hope I remember this in the right order. Okay, so I'm going to save my tape and then I'm going to go this way. So I'm going to turn the board vertically like in portrait and go ahead and find my center point. Hopefully this time I'm more accurate than I was before. Ooh, that's a better number to work with. All right, so I've got 10. So 5 is my center point here. Make sure I'm pulling that. Okay. All right. center point. I got a piece of painter's tape, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it halfway. Pinch it on the ends so that that like helps me see where the center point is of the tape. Make sure that's halfway. Maybe that's what happened last time. I might not have folded it correctly. So I've got my tape lined up with my center point. Do that here. I'm going to trim it down just a little bit so I can see where my marker was. Fold and pinch. And that looks about right. So push it down. That looks pretty good, right? So I'm going to go ahead and push that down. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and do my lines. Again, I'm going to use one of these as a spacer. I'm going to try to get it as close to the edge as possible. Now you can see there's like a little hair like space, and that's okay. As long as it's even across, I think that's like the most important thing. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I like stuff rustic, so I'm not going to get in a panic if it's, you know, not exactly right. But all right, so I'm going to lift up my spacer and just keep using that. Whoops, hold on, I got tape stuck here. Let me know if you guys have questions while you're going along and watching. Happy to answer them if I can. All right, so we've got another spacer and another tape down. All right, that's pretty good. Let's hope the other end is similar. We're gonna just keep cruising here, and then I think I'm gonna use the Savannah Mist will be next, actually. All right. Let's see, here we go. Now with the tape, you wanna make sure that it's really down flat, otherwise it's gonna give you trouble. I just learned how to do this today, so I'm pretty excited to share it with you guys. All right. My spacer, and then another piece of tape, and then that's going to be my last one. Now, like I said, the longer of a surface you're working with, you may want to use, like before, I've done this sort of freehand before, and I've used like a yardstick on like really big signs and just kind of freehanded my checker, but this is definitely more accurate. But on a bigger space, I would have something to kind of help me line up the tape somehow. All right, so now, see, we've got our drop cloth, we've got our terracotta. So I'm almost thinking, do we want to do the Stormy Seas next? What do you guys think? Stormy Seas and then the Savannah Mist? Give it a try and see what happens. Hi Sam, thanks for hopping on tonight. I have a million brushes too ready to go because I don't have time to wash in between. So I just have like these medium-sized craft brushes. Again, make sure they're really, really dry, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead with the Stormy Seas, and I'm just gonna brush across. And if my tape lifts up a little bit, I'm just gonna make sure I don't push the paint underneath there. Use my tablecloth as a palette here. There's a little bit of lifting there, so I'm just gonna make sure I push out instead of pushing under the paint tape, if that makes sense. Now I don't know, like normally if there's like an order of like darkest to lightest. On the other one I started with a light color and I did darker and then I went lighter. So we'll see what happens when we lift this one up, what it looks like. I'm not making any promises tonight because I'm learning right along with you guys. But sometimes it's fun to take a little bit of a risk and push yourself out of your comfort zone. And a lot of the women in the DIY Decor Makers group have been doing that lately, and it's been amazing. They've been making beautiful things. We do a project every month live. We do a Q&A. Whoops, put a moth in my head. They're learning more about how to use the Cricut. We also do Build It bonus tutorials to teach them how to build things, build small things like pallet boards and frames, and coming up we're doing some crates and things like that. And then they also get a paint finish tutorial every single month, along with a supply list. So they're really knocking it out of the park in there with their projects. It's so exciting to see people trying things that they might not otherwise try, and they feel like they have the support and encouragement to do things. That's the most important thing. The darker one last. Okay. Well, we're just going to keep cruising and see what happens. I think that's what I did on my other one. I did do the darker one last. But we'll just see what happens, see if it comes out. See if we like it or not. And if we don't, I can always paint over it. But anyway, even if you pick 3 colors, you can do the same technique with the tape and get the buffalo plaid. So this will work with the buffalo plaid. And someone just said do the darkest color last, which I actually have seen on some videos. Don't know why I didn't do it on this one, but I did it on my last. I did it on these little tags. I did the gravel road was the last color that I used. Oh, Catherine says DIY group is awesome. She has been a member since it opened. And she's also one of our moderators and helps answers questions about the Cricut, and she's fantastic. She did a special training for people in there, and we also have a guest instructor coming in to teach paint tutorials. It's someone who is going to blow your mind, but I haven't shared it with the group yet, so they'll be the first to find out. All right, so then I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to try to match up where my lines were before. Let's see. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it this way. So I'm going to try to put my lines here. I can see kind of where I did them before, and I can use that as like a marker. So let's see. All right, close your ears, guys. So now I'm going to try to put the tape where I can kind of see where my lines were before. I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to leave my tape down. I'm not going to lift it up. I'm going to pull a bunch of pieces off. There are so many different ways to do plaids and buffalo check, but this is the basic, like, you know, you can use painter tape in this same way to do a buffalo plaid as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and line these up with where I had them before. Actually, I think I'm gonna do over the darker. No, do over the lighter. I'm just gonna kind of carefully get those on there. Probably was a little overzealous with the tape, but that's okay. Better to have too much than not enough, right? I'm just gonna kind of carefully look. Hold on. Look at where I lined them up before. I can kind of see, I can faintly see my lines. So I'm just gonna go by that. As long as it looks straight, we should be good. All right. Yep, I can see that one pretty good. Okay. All right, so how does that look, you guys? Pretty straight, like as far as the checkerboard? I'm gonna go ahead and go over this with the Savannah Mist and just see what happens. Not making any promises. This is kind of experimental for me. I know with a buffalo plaid, you're supposed to use technically 3 colors, but we're doing it a little differently tonight just to see, because I really like the way my little tags came out. They're going to be door hangers. They're going to say welcome fall, and we'll do that in just a minute here. All right, so I'm making sure my tape is down. I'm gonna make sure there's no areas that are gonna bleed. And because I'm live, I would normally dry my paint better, but because I'm live, I'm doing this, you know, faster. So I use my hair dryer and hope that it, you know, works. So I'm just going over, kind of pulling away from the tape. I'm careful not to get the paint underneath the tape, which if that happens, I can always touch up. It's not the end of the world. There we go. And I wanted to tell you guys too, if you subscribe to my newsletter at pickedandpolishedblog.com, the link is above. I'm going to be sending out a free tutorial tomorrow morning on how I did the designing for these, for my stencil, and how I use that shape as a template to help me figure out like where to position and what size I wanted my lettering for those. So if you want that, make sure you may already be a subscriber to my website. You may already get the newsletter. And in that case, you'll get it anyways, that little freebie. But if you're not, hop on over to pickedandpolishedblog.com and you can put in your email and I will send you that out tomorrow morning. You'll have like the behind the scenes of how I did the designing on Cricut Design Space for that. It's pre-recorded, which I think is helpful when I'm doing designing videos sometimes. Sometimes it's good for you to see me troubleshoot because it doesn't always happen perfectly. But also sometimes it's nice to have like a finished video. And I have all 7 of my Cricut, how to use Cricut basics, making stencils, reusable, and sticky vinyl. And also it's good for you doing decals too, but in the DIY Decor Makers group, that whole series is in there. As well as a lot of quick tips and Q&A every week and all that good stuff. That's coming up a little bit, so I've got to be careful not to get paint underneath the tape. But do you guys see how I'm kind of like I'm not like super duper coating it, right? We'll see what happens. This is kind of an experiment. I know that this technique with the tape works. As far as the color choices, I'm not totally sure. We'll see what happens when I lift it up. And then we'll do the sticky vinyl stencil after that. And I'll show you what those tags will look like on, as far as like a door hanger. Super cute project. I've got some fabric to add to them. You guys were so good about me rescheduling. I thought I'd do a double feature for you tonight. Yeah, pickedandpolishedblog.com is the website. And I think, Roxy, you may already be a subscriber, but you can double check. All right. Whoops. I don't know what's happening there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh yeah, you could do American flag colors. That would be really cool. All right. So Nicole, I think, are you already you probably use the Cricut for your scrapbooking, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Normally I would wait until it's dry, but again, we're going live here. So I'm just going to do it and see what happens. It's a little funky, but I like it. It's cute. Okay, that's cute. It's a little like checkerboard style. Look at that. So definitely not the buffalo plaid, but still super cute for fall. I love the color combinations. In the daytime, I'll take a picture tomorrow. These are more bluish than they are totally gray. They look really gray right now, but that's really cute. And I could put some lettering over it, or the Dollar Tree has a lot of really cute like metal letters that say like gather or thankful, and those would be cute over something like this. So let me go ahead and set this aside and let it dry completely. Just something a little bit different. All right, now I'm gonna clean up my mess and then we're gonna do some vinyl. I'm gonna show you how I weed the vinyl And then, and those of you that are on the DIY Decor group wait list, I have an extra special little video coming out to you guys tomorrow also. So I've got a couple exciting things coming out via email. All right, I'm a super messy painter. Those of you guys that know me, have been following me long enough, know that. Yeah, that color combination came out cute. It's definitely not like the buffalo plaid, but it's still really, I think it's really cute. Okay. Just gonna toss my stuff off to the side. And now we're gonna do the stencil. All right, I've got paint all over the place, so I'm gonna try not to get paint on my vinyl. So I cut this with my stencil, and if you want the free tutorial on how I got all this measured out and figured out over a template like these tags that I cut and designed, you can subscribe and you'll get that video tutorial tomorrow in your inbox. Okay, whoops, got one of these little guys. Sometimes these come up with the vinyl. So I'm just gonna stick it back down, it's not a big deal. And even if you lose one of those little doodads, I don't even know what to call them, you can always just paint them in or use a painter pen if you want to get like exact, you know, shapes that are a little more fine point. The important thing is not to panic. And I know I get messages from people all the time, and people in the DIY Decor group that originally, before they joined, they had a Cricut in the box and never used, were too afraid to plug it in. But honestly, you guys, once you get going, it's simple stuff. It's just the getting going that you need, like, you know, the right instruction. It took me quite a few years, and I'm hoping to save you the headaches that I went through trying to figure it all out by myself. I've kind of cut things down to the straight and narrow so you can get all the information that you need. All right, so there's my weeding. It's done. Welcome fall. I know it's crooked, but it's because my phone wouldn't flip. So now I use 631 stencil vinyl and paper tape, transfer tape, which I have in my Amazon shop, and I can put the link in the feed. And I usually I'm trying not to get too much paint on my stencil. And I usually just line up the edge. I kind of let it sink in the middle. I line up the edge and then push it out from the middle. That seems to work pretty well for me. Everybody probably has their own strategy. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this down. All right. Again, I'm going to just trim it. I'm wasting a little bit of vinyl here. You could probably pull these letters tighter, but I'm doing them on two separate surfaces. So I don't want my stencils to be super duper close, because then I'll have to worry about paint like dripping over the edge. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the grid on the back, give myself a little leeway here, and go ahead and cut the backing so that it's nice and straight. The straighter you cut, the easier it's gonna be for you to like line up your stencils. So like the top is really crooked, so I'm gonna straighten that out. Hey, Nikki. My mother-in-law's watching tonight. How are you guys? Here we go. So there's the welcome. I know it's backwards. Sorry about that. And then the fall, same thing. I'm just going to trim it up nice and even as possible. Whoops, that's a little bit off, but it's fine. Cut along the lines here, and then I'll be ready to rock and roll. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to pull my tags over, right? These cute little tags. And they're going to hang, let me pull this up a little bit. They're going to hang on my door, like, you know, like this probably. So one will say welcome, one will say fall, and then I've got this cute, here's a money saver for you guys. I buy fabric for like 99 cents for those little squares, and I tear it up and I make little ribbons and bows with it. So I could add some greenery or some florals or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead, and when I designed this on my Cricut, I found it really helpful to inlay a shape like this that was like a tag, so I could kind of see how the lettering was going to look on it. And it helped me pick my font, and you'll see that in the video you'll get via email tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and see, I'll get my welcome one ready, and then I'll get my fall one ready. And I still have to paint the edges. I painted the edges in Gravel Road. I want to leave some room for some ribbon and stuff here. I distressed them. I kind of like that look. I might go back over it with a little more sandpaper, but I want to leave some room for some ribbon or some greenery, so I'm not going to have the welcome all the way up at the top of the tag. I'll kind of pull it down a little bit, and I kind of want it to be at a little bit of an angle. So what I'm going to do after I rub it down, I'm going to flip it over. You guys have seen me do this a million times unless you're new. And then I'm just going to put some pressure. My first job is to pull the backing off. Look how easy that is. And then once that's empty, nothing on it, I toss it to the side. And now it's sticky, and I've just got my transfer tape on top of the stencil. Allison says, I hope you will show how to make a bow. I have no skills. Allison, listen, my friend, I am with you on that. And that's why I use these little strings. Like, I take the little stringy pieces off, and I just like tie them. I take like 3 or 4 different pieces of fabric and ribbon, and I just make like a messy bow. And I love that look because it doesn't look like I tried too hard. I do have a friend on here tonight, actually, Debbie Gilbert, who is a bow making queen. I could probably learn a thing or two about bow making from her, but I can show you how I make them. It's really, you're gonna laugh because there's not much. So as I'm pulling this off, you guys, I'm pushing down. This is harder on barnwood that has like texture, and that's part of that video I'm sending to those of you on the wait list. It's a little bit harder, but on smoother wood like this, it's pretty easy to apply. So I'm just gonna move you can reuse the transfer tape or not, it's up to you. So now the big decision, color of lettering, you guys. I'm almost thinking the drop cloth. What do you think? A light color or like the black? I don't even know if I have my black handy. Yes, I do. So we're gonna do light, the drop cloth color, or the black for this. I need help. Let me know what you think, and I will get the other stencil on the other tag while you're helping me decide. So welcome fall. I'm gonna make sure these are the right way. And I'm gonna get my fall down. So what do you guys think? Black font or the drop cloth? Drop cloth, black, 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 black. Okay. All right, so I think it's overwhelmingly gonna be black, and we'll see what happens. That's the only thing about using more than 3 colors, is it gets trickier to pick a font color. Because if there's like dark on, unless you do 4 lighter colors that are somewhat light to medium, and you don't have a super saturated dark color, it would be easier to pick a font color, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm thinking these should be like kind of kitty corner, like just off a little bit. Let's see, hold on. Just gonna, there. I don't want these to be perfectly straight. Why? Why do cars have to be so loud? I'm sorry if that offends any of you that like loud cars, but it's just, they're so loud. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and peel this off. Okay, I think black is the decision, so I purposefully didn't put these straight because they're gonna hang kind of like, you know, off kilter or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so I think that's cute. So here we go. I'm gonna do the black, and the other option would be the Savannah Mist, but I think that's gonna it's too many variations in color. So we're gonna do the black. I'm gonna use, again, you guys, this is really important. I get a lot of people that say they have bleeding, and it's honestly, I think it's because they're using either a brush that they've cleaned and then the handle gets wet and they think the bristles are dry, but they're not, because it's dripping down. So super dry brush and less is more. You're better off doing 2 really light coats. Ooh, this has a little bit of Steel Magnolia mixed in it. Pretty. Okay, so notice I'm just like tapping off the paint. Like I don't have a lot of paint on there at all. So I'm gonna make sure my vinyl's down good. I'm gonna do a light coat first. I'm just gonna feather and dab that on. And you're way better off doing 2 light coats than 1 heavy coat, or 2 heavy, especially 2 heavy coats. Because if you have a chalk based paint like the Dixie Belle, you're going to have way better results. If you're using an acrylic based paint, it's going to be really soupy and the likelihood of it bleeding is going to be higher. And that's why some people seal these down with like a satin clear coat or something like that, or a Mod Podge. I don't care for Mod Podge for that, but I've used satin before, but I don't really need to with the chalk based paint because it's thick enough. It's just like I don't want to add a step if I don't have to, you know what I mean? Or use more product than I really need to use. One thing you can do though, before I could afford to buy chalk paint, actually, when I was like, you know, really like didn't even have an extra $5 laying around, I would add a little bit of baking soda and make a paste with water and then add it to my acrylic paint. But again, you're going to have to fuss with it, and you're not going to get the quality you would with like a Dixie Belle chalk paint. But that is like, if that's all you have on hand to work with and you have is it baking powder? No. Wait, I have to think about that. Baking soda. I think it's baking soda. And I messaged somebody today about that, so I have to go back and check and make sure I said the right thing. But for me, it's just like way easier to have good paint on hand. And then you've got to worry about, you know, the right consistency and all that stuff. So again, I'm just very lightly going over the lettering here. Yeah, I think it's baking soda, not baking powder. Tisa, I think you messaged me. I messaged you about that. So I'll write to you after this live. Had a brain fizzle there. I'm just kind of lightly going over, and then I'm being careful not to like push the paint under the stencil. And then I'll go over it one more time. If I want super clean lines, if I want like a distressed look, I can probably just leave it the way it is and it'll be fine. But here we go. Go over this one more time really quickly. Normally, again, I would let this dry a little bit more, but because we're doing it live, I'm just gonna push my luck a little bit and try to get it done for you so you can see how cute it is. And then if we have time, I'll do a little bit of my crazy bow making, which I use the term bow making very loosely. We definitely have some people in the DIY Decor Makers group that are good at that stuff. That could help you if you join. Everybody helps everybody in that group. It is an amazing group of women, you guys. Everybody encourages and celebrates, and you know, it's just, I can't say enough about the women that are in there, and they're super excited to welcome new members. There's a little thing called the welcome wagon we've created in there that's going to be a lot of fun. Little surprise for you when you join. Okay. All right, so that's done. All right, I've painted it on. We're gonna go ahead. Yes, baking soda, thank you. Kate Chase says, best crafting family around. It totally is we're like a family in there. It's so fun. All right, someone's saying bows are so easy. Debbie, that's because you're the bow queen, my friend. How do you do the buffalo plaid? Just got on. If you go back and watch, you'll see how I did this finish. But let me know if you have any questions, okay, Sandy? I'd be happy to answer them. This isn't quite a buffalo plaid because I've added a couple colors, but it's the same, like the same technique with the paint. Ooh, and some of my original paint lifted up because I just finished painting these. But you guys know I love the farmhousey look, so I'm okay with that distressed sort of feel. So I'm gonna go ahead and, Sandy says love it. Thank you, Sandy, that's so nice of you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and, can you guys see this okay? I'm gonna go ahead and weed these pieces off. Ooh, yeah, good call on the black, this looks good. Again, normally, I would highly recommend that you don't do this until your paint is dry, because you could have some messy parts and pieces. Oh, and I forgot I put wax on this and then wiped it off, so that might be part of the reason why my thing is coming up. If you decide you want to wax, I usually wax after I stencil. Sometimes I wax before, but if it's humid or something, it can cause problems. So just wax after. That's my recommendation. Can be finicky sometimes. All right, hold tight. Okay, and if I thought this was going to get a lot of water on it, I would gator hide this with the Dixie Belle gator hide. All right. So how cute now. Whoops, it's upside down. Okay, so welcome fall. These are my little tags. They're going to hang on my door. I know they're backwards, but it's okay. It's not backwards to me, it's backwards to you because I forgot to flip my, it wasn't working, my little flippy-dee-doodle. Okay, so now, I'm thinking I might take some rope or something to go through these to really hold these together. What do you guys think? Do you like the way they came out so far? Something different, you know, it's not just, you could also do the buffalo plaid with just like oranges and like off-white, and that would be really pretty too if that's like, if you want something a little more traditional. So usually I just take Walmart fabric, I buy it for like 98 cents, and I just, or go to Hobby Lobby and I buy a yard for like holiday time, because you guys, holiday time's around the corner. So those of you that are making for your home, for gifts, or getting ready for the holiday season in, you know, your business, or you're doing workshops, now's the time to hop into our group because you'll have all kinds of resources in there for that stuff. But yeah, so I tend to sort of collect, you know, fabrics like this, and then I'll, let's see, hold tight, I have another little thing of ribbon that I want to use. Grab them. Okay, don't laugh. They're still in the packages, but I just thought they might be cute. So I've got a little bit of burlap. I've got this cute polka dot one. These were at the Dollar Tree, these little rolls. And I knew I wasn't going to be making like a large quantity, which I think if you're making a bunch, it's probably safe to say that it's not a good deal to buy this ribbon at the Dollar Tree, but ribbon is expensive, so I try not to buy it. If I can buy fabric and just rip it, I try to do that instead. And the projects we do in our group are very budget friendly. For sure, because I want you guys, if you're businesses, I want you to make more money in your business. If you're a home decorator, I want you to feel like you don't have to spend a fortune to get, you know, to create something beautiful. There's no reason to. All right. We've got this one. Pull that out. And we've got our polka dot. And you guys are going to really laugh because this is so not a bow making strategy by any stretch of the imagination. But usually what I do is I just layer them, and I'll put my like smaller ones on top. Let's see, I feel like I need to make a bigger one with the gray, but we'll see how it turns out. I just kind of center them and layer, and then I just make a messy bow. Like messy bow. You just kind of tuck and just like you would with just any bow, you just twist it. See how this goes with this many pieces of fabric. You guys are gonna see me get into a fight with ribbon tonight, I think. I think I don't have enough length here. Hold on. Nope, I don't. Hold on a second. Got too many pieces here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. This is good. It's too thick for me to work with. So I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna like fluff it up here. When I'm done, you'll see. It looks like a hot mess right now, but, and it might look like a hot mess to you after, if you're like a fancy bow maker, because I am not. But I like to just get scraps of things and have some fun and make like little messy bows. So if I were to do this, I think tomorrow I'll probably fine tune this, because I want more of the gray. Like I like that gray. I want more of that to show. So I would just pull. So I basically just made a regular bow, and then I pull out the pieces. If there are any bow makers on here, please don't send me mean emails about my bow making lack thereof strategies, okay? Seriously. I know that I have some room to grow in this area. But I don't know. There's something I like about like a non-fussy bow. It's just fun. So I could do that. That will look cute somewhere on it. Tuck this in a little bit. But I think I need more fabric. So I would just take it, you know, maybe put it on here somewhere. Let me lift you guys up. All right. Don't be hating my bows. But I think I would probably also, I'm not loving this one either. It's throwing me off with the gold. So I'm going to play around with it, and I'm going to try to make a bigger one. I'm going to cut longer strands and try to hook this on, you know, somewhere onto the little tags, and then they'll go on my door. I'll connect them with some twine or some rope or something like that. And I just think it's a lot of fun. And I think sometimes too, if you use just the softer fabrics with your bows, and like I tend to like to just layer cloth. It's easier for me to work with. Like I could use this to connect them. I'm rethinking things here, guys. And then I could just make bow with my fabric. Just layer my fabric with a bunch of pieces, take this and connect the two, and I think that would work better. Let's see. Hold tight. I think this would be cute to hold them together. What do you guys think? The burlappy wired ribbon. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Hold on a second. Bear with me. Allison says, love, love, love. Hi, Deb. And I was thinking I go in the front. So, I like this ribbon holding them together. I'm going to go through the front on this. And then I'll use the other ribbon to create like a little messy ratty bow. And then I will definitely post pictures tomorrow. And you can see, welcome fall. Is it upside down? Did I do it upside down? Yes, I did. I did it backwards. But you guys get the point. It would say, welcome fall, and it would hang on your door, and it would be so cute. And you could add florals or, you know, messy ribbons or pretty bows or whatever it is you want to do. So let me know if you guys have any questions. This is making me crazy because it's backwards. So I'm going to fix this. I'm going to get it all staged and pretty for you tomorrow. I'll take pictures, so be sure to check back on my Facebook page. And definitely hop over to pickedandpolishedblog.com and subscribe if you haven't already, because you will get, thank you, Linda, you are too, because you will get a free behind the scenes tutorial of how I designed the stencils for these door tags or door hangers or whatever you want to call them. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight, and be on the lookout tomorrow for cutesy pictures of these. And don't forget, we also did this tonight, and this was a lot of fun. little checkerboard, sort of like, you know, fall with a little twist, I guess is how you want to call it. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you for being here. I'll see you guys again tomorrow night at 8. Bye.